Hello. Good morning, guys. A little bit late-ish, sort of. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. You guys all can hear me very well. Okay, good. It looks good. Um, yeah, I usually don't like to. I have like the pre-show, kind of the live stream will start soon. That thing that's up. I usually don't like to leave it up. It's been 10 minutes now, so sorry for those of you guys who have been waiting for 10 minutes. Usually 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes is kind of enough. Anyway, let's get into it. How have you guys been enjoying the best of videos? Best of 2019 and the best of the decade. What do you guys think of those videos? Helpful? Interesting? Good lists? Disagreements? I think the most common disagreement that I've seen is that I didn't include the HG Destiny in the best of 2019. And it's a fair point. I thought about it, but I thought it's not really all that much different from like the was it a Revive kit or not? I can't remember what exactly was in the actual Revive line, but like the Revive version of the Force Impulse and the Freedom were both also really great kits, and the Destiny just kind of seemed like just along the same line. So for that reason, the Destiny didn't really stand out as something like really new. A fantastic kit, I'm sure, even though I haven't built it yet. I've got it over here. I recently got it. It's in my queue to build. So I'm sure it's a great kit. But just because I didn't feel like it really did anything to really stand out as far as I know. But the one good point, though, was that it did have the effect parts included, which was nice. So it deserves credit for that. So anyway, that was the most common, I think, disagreement that people saw. And then a few people commented about the lack of high-resolution kits as well. Both in the best of 2019, people thought the high-resolution God Gundam should have been in there. And also for like just the best of the decade, people thought I should have included the high-resolution line, either the God Gundam or the Astray. And that's also a fair point. Maybe could have. But I just think the high-resolution line is just too expensive. It's just not really like a viable option for a lot of people. That said, I did include the PG Exia, but that's kind of like a little bit different thing. It's a perfect grade. The high resolution, I guess, is like its own thing as well, but I just feel like no one really asked for the high resolution line. No one really wants what the high resolution line is. The only reason that people buy them is just because the kits, a couple of them do end up looking pretty good. But I think if they would have produced those same kits just as a normal master grade, much more people would have been interested in those kits. So for what it is, I think like while they might sell all right, yeah, they're just too expensive. So how are you guys all doing this morning? There on Twitch, let's see. Soul, Nick, how are you guys doing? Face or YouTube. So Michael, Steven, Kenichi, Axia, Speedball Haro, how are you guys all doing? It's my first time to ever build a Macross kit, so I'm pretty excited. Although, like, at the same time, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't feel like that really momentous of an occasion. It's just a non-Gundam mecha model, which I don't build that often, but I do build them every now and then, so. I see my dad. Oops, sorry about that. My dad also watching there on Facebook. Good morning, Dad. And Ryan. Good morning, Ryan. How you guys doing? Nick watching from the Philippines. That's cool. Hope you guys are okay in the Philippines. I haven't seen much about it, but I've just seen about what's going on with the volcano there. Kind of scary. Hope you're doing all right. So, let's get to work on this guy. And I just want to let you guys know too that I'm also it's kind of hard to show you. Starting from yesterday, and I'll finish up today, getting all the parts and everything ready for a live stream building Mechagodzilla on Friday morning. So that'll be my Friday morning for you guys in the US to be Thursday evening. Ryan, you say you're still at work. That's fun. Hopefully you're not busy. You can just kind of hang out for a while. But yeah, Friday morning, people in the US, your Thursday evening, the next live stream build will be the Aoshima Mechagodzilla. So I'm getting all the parts ready now so that we can live stream build that next. So we'll have another non-Gundam kit to build next after this. And then next week we'll have a couple of Gundam kits to build. The Master Grade Dodge Kai, and then I want to do at least one more. So maybe the Rigazi unicorn version, possibly? I don't know, we'll see. Maybe another non-Gundam thing. Need to build the Dogram as well, so maybe we'll build that one. I'll think about it. I need to build the Figurized Miku as well, and I was planning on live streaming that too, so next week we'll build the Figurized Labo Miku and the Dodge Kai. Sounds like a pretty good plan. But yeah, if you guys saw the live stream the other day, my new compressor arrived, so I can actually get back to some painting now too, so I need to work on that. Alright, so first thing is that the instructions are a bit strange. This part I feel like definitely should go in much later in the process, but it kind of shows it going in straight away. So okay, got the little antenna for the top of the head, which also is a little bit goofy in there. And this, I'll put that in a little bit later. Doesn't feel like it's gonna stay in very well. Have any of you guys built this kit? Or I know there's a couple of kits. This is like a variant. There's a couple different variants of this kit, basically, of like the exact same kit. Have any of you guys built this one or the other different variants of this kit? What did you think of it? Like the little clear lens part for the camera at the front of the head. And the box, I didn't notice this while I was recording the unboxing for this. If you guys noticed, I haven't uploaded the unboxing for this kit yet because it's going to be one where I'm planning on doing the unboxing and the review all as one video. So after the live stream, and then I'll record the review, and then I'll just put it all out at once. And why is this not wanting to go in there? Am I putting this in upside down or something, or just not lining it up, or what? As always, guys, let's see, just catch up on a couple comments. But as always, if you have questions directly, like that you want to direct directly at me, if you have questions for me specifically, you're not just chatting amongst each other there in the chat, tag me in your comments, or put it in all caps so that I can see your question easily. And Ryan, you loved my best kits of the century. Century, not the century quite yet. But thank you, that's cool. Acid, thank you very much for your contribution there. Going to Shizuoka Hobby Show for the first time, do you have to get a badge, or is it open to the public? Acid Blade, well, first of all, congratulations on going to Shizuoka. You're really gonna love it. I'm gonna be there too, so say hello if you see me. And as for Shizuoka, no, you don't need a badge if you go on the public day. If you go in, let's think, why? And hang on, why is this part not going in? Am I putting this in wrong or something? What's the deal? Okay, no, okay, sorry. I think I better put this together first. You don't need a badge. I can't remember. I think Sunday is the public day, right? Or is it Saturday? Saturday's public day? I forget offhand. I'll have to check. But yeah, like, I know Friday is not public. So like, if you go on Friday, 'cause I'm pretty sure I went there the first day on Friday when it was not open to the public. And so I borrowed a badge from one of the guys there. But yeah, if you go on a public day, then no, you don't need a badge. And the reason why I couldn't get this clear piece in, because I thought it went in behind this part, but actually you need to put the two halves of the head together first, and then you just pop the clear part in there in the front. So see, the instructions, not very clear. This part here at the back of the head, that goes into the back, and then the clear part that goes in the front, those should go in like after putting the two halves of the kit together. So normally in a Bandai kit, it'd like have the part one would be you had to put the main body of the head together first, and then it would have like the two that you put the front and back parts in afterwards. But it doesn't say that on here, so though just make sure you pay attention if something's not working and try it a little bit differently. So that's it for the head. Pretty simple. The little antenna will flip forward like that, I guess, and it's quite loose in there, so I'll probably just end up gluing that later. And a little bit of a seam line here on the bottom of the back of the head, but it's kind of on the back of the head, so I'm not really too worried about that. Seam line here on the front as well, so I'll maybe just get rid of that. Shouldn't be too hard. There's nothing that's really going to be lost in there. Just the antenna will be stuck in, getting rid of that seam line, but that's not a big deal. I'm expecting this kit to have a good amount of seam lines on it, to be honest. But I don't know, just getting all the parts right and everything, it didn't look like it's going to have that many seam lines, actually. There'll be just like little bits here and there, it looks like, but otherwise nothing like too major. Nick said, how do you decide which kits to display on your shelf versus ones to keep in the box? Well, one way is to just have very little shelf space like me. I have very little shelf space, so most everything is just kept back in the box if it's not yet built, or not painted, I should say. Is there a way to make the Tamiya epoxy putty not that sticky? Use water. Jay Lynch, if like you're working with the Tamiya epoxy putty, or any epoxy putty as far as I know, just if you're using your fingers, just get some water on your fingers and it won't stick to your fingers. Or if you're using a tool, just dip your tool in water and it won't stick to that. I think that should answer your question, I believe. Okay. Now, actually, I meant to build the waist part first, but that's okay. We'll build the body. Oh, no, we need the waist to build the body, so these are the body parts. We'll put those aside and build the waist part here first. It's just a couple of pieces. Oh, it's not an antenna, it's a laser cannon. Okay, this is a laser cannon? This little tiny thing on the top of his head? Okay, thank you, Dave, for filling me in on that. I should mention this. This is not only my first time ever building a Macross kit, but I've never seen Macross. I'm not really interested in Macross, so you'll have to forgive me. I don't really know much about it. So sorry about that. And thank you for the info, Dave. If I mess anything else up, do feel free to let me know, especially because it'll be useful for me to have the proper information for the review for everyone else. So any information you can share with me now will be useful when I go to record the review later on. So thank you for that. I think I saw over there on Facebook that my aunt also joined. Let's see. Here. Facebook's so sluggish. Aunt Marie, if you're still watching live, hi. Okay, let's see. It's meant for shooting down missiles or small aircraft. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So it's just what's that called? I'm drawing a blank. What's the word for that? But anyway, yeah, okay, I get what you mean. That's cool. I am noticing that just the head and then these parts too, the polycaps are a bit tricky. They don't want to line up quite straight, so make sure you're careful with the polycaps when you're putting those together. I feel bad for building kits and not displaying them around my room office. It's one of the reasons why I'm not motivated. Yeah, if you have like a proper display space, I guess it'd be a shame like not to use it, right? But so on this part too, we got seam line here, seam line here. So yeah, I think that's B. Basically, obviously essentially the nose cone of the fighter form. Anyway. Alright, so now the body part, and again, this is going to be maybe a little bit tricky. I need to be careful, make sure I pay attention to what I'm doing. So we got polycaps here, which are not really going to want to stay in place very well, so let me come back to putting those in a little bit later. Got... What is that? Where is this polycap even supposed to go? In here, I guess. Yeah, I gotta say, the instructions definitely not as clear as your typical Bandai kit. So just make sure you're paying attention to what you're doing. That said, nothing like difficult. Just need to pay attention. Like with a Bandai manual, I can like look at it for like half a second. I can know what I'm doing. This one, I kind of just need to pay attention, and just like the parts, and just like the general shape of all the parts and everything, I'm just not as familiar with. And these polycaps, although they look almost the same, they're very slightly different. Left and the right side version of this polycap, so be careful with that too. Ryan said Vaseline also works really well to prevent sticking. Yeah, yeah, Vaseline, I mentioned that very briefly in my recent desk update video, and it's a good point. I mean to cover that more in a video later. But yeah, if you want if you want the epoxy putty to not stick to a particular part of something that you're working on, then yeah, you can use Vaseline as well. Just put a little Vaseline on the part where you don't want the epoxy putty to stick to. Yes, but if you mean you don't want it to stick to whatever you're using to manipulate the putty, again, like a tool or your fingers or whatever, then water should work fine. I don't know if you really need to put Vaseline on your like tool to keep the putty off it, but I guess you could. But water just seems kind of easier as well. Okay, so a little bit tricky part there, and I don't want those polycaps to pop out of there again, so I need to be careful with that. And also my second cousin also doing so. Apparently on Facebook, a bunch of my family watching. That's cool. Hi, cousin Heidi. I didn't think that many people of my family were following my Facebook, Zaku Relief's Facebook page. But alright, which final top coat do you prefer and why? Nick on Twitch there, which top coat do I prefer? Definitely my favorite top coat to use is Mr. Hobby. It's just Mr. Color Flat Clear. It's just one of their normal paint range flat clear colors. And using that with the airbrush. A lot of people really like the Mr. Hobby, like the Mr. Color spray can top coats, and I used to use those, but I just prefer the finish of just the flat clear paint. It's just not super duper like. The reason why I don't like some of the spray cans that I used before is that it almost has like kind of like a dusty look to it. It's too flat. Oh shit. But the flat clear color I think looks really nice. It's almost kind of like satiny a little bit. It dulls the color. It dulls all your colors a little bit. So if you want like super bright colors, it will certainly dull them slightly. But that said, I think your colors will still look really bright once they're on there. Just I guess it just depends on the color. And this part also a little bit tricky. Why is this not going in there? It's another one of those where in the manual it looks like this should go in before putting the top part on, but it didn't. So I think it needs to go in after, but now it's also not fitting on after either. So this should go on maybe like this, so maybe it'd be better. Okay, I need to see what I'm doing here. There we go. Alright, a little bit tricky to get those parts in together. But there we go. So that's for the backpack here essentially. So you got like kind of folded up wings up in there, which is pretty cool. And then the wings, do these have a front and back side? Are they the same? Different? They look the same, so okay. Another one of my aunt also joined on Facebook. What's going on? Someone in my family must have shared this on Facebook that suddenly a bunch of my family is watching on Facebook. Okay. Hello, Aunt Ann, also new there. Blaze asked, have you watched the YouTube series called Obsolete? No, I've not watched that series yet, but I've seen that they're making some kits from the series coming out. So that will be pretty cool. I saw those kits come up, so I pre-ordered those. The kits look pretty cool, and I know what you're talking about. I've seen like people going on about the series, but I've yet to like watch it myself. So, even though the construction is a bit odd in places, it's certainly different than a Bandai kit. I gotta say, I really love the detail on this. This has got a ton of detail, especially like around here on this top part, around the head. Interestingly, like the head itself, not a ton of detail there, but around the head and here on the front, all these panel lines and details and everything, on the back, on these wings, a ton of detail on there. So very cool. And also the size a little bit smaller than what I was like originally expecting. Slightly smaller. It's basically going to be about the size of a high grade, it seems like. Well, I think Macross kits are generally in 1/100 scale or 1/72 scale. I think the 1/72 scale ones, I guess, would be the larger size, comparable to like a Bandai Master Grade kit. It seems to me at this point. Dreezy Boy said, what's your tips when starting out your first painted build? First painted build, my tips would be just do plenty of research ahead of time. Do research, but that said, don't do so much research to the point that you're kind of like feeling intimidated, because there's a lot of things to remember. You gotta think about like drying times and thinner, whether to use thinner or don't. If you're using spray cans and you're not going to use thinner, and like which types of paint work with that. There's kind of a lot of information, I guess, that you kind of need to know, but at the same time, it's really not as intimidating as it may seem on the surface. It's not that complicated. The best advice for starting on a painted build is just start on something simple and just try it, and do as much research as you need to have a good idea of what you're doing ahead of time. Other than that, I mean, just go for it. Once you get started painting, you're definitely going to be glad that you did. So even if your first couple of kits don't come out that great. My first couple of painted kits weren't good. weren't that good. Well, I wouldn't really count them as like total failures. They weren't horrible, I don't think. But hey, your first couple of painted kits aren't gonna be masterpieces, so just go for it and you'll get better. So it's not like, and I think the other thing that I see a lot of people worry about is they're worried about ruining their kits, and I also think that's something that you should really just not worry about, because it's really hard to completely ruin a kit, and then even if you do, you can always just buy the kit again. And I know, like, some people, if you're working on a budget, you can't, it's easy to say just buy the kit again, but I understand some people maybe don't have the budget to just buy kits all the time, which is very understandable. But as long as you're not painting like some P Bandai or like super rare kit or something, then it's always one that you can get again later at some point and try it again if you want. So the important thing is to just not get too worried about it, I think. So, alright, so this part here this would be which part of the leg? Kind of the thigh part of the leg. We got seam lines on the front and back of here as well. And where's this? Would you recommend starting on smaller kits? Yeah, Dreezy. Yes, for your first painted build, I would recommend just working on like a simple high grade or something. It would be best. Just because it's simpler in its design, also cheaper, of course, again. So, I mean, where is this piece? I need this. Here it is. Okay. Yeah, starting off with a high grade, or even like a first grade or an advanced grade, like a really simple one. But that said, I don't think you really need to go that simple. Just a simple high grade is enough. Honestly, like probably one of the best kits that I could advise for people getting into starting painting would probably be the grays, HG grays. This doesn't have a ton of parts. It has almost no seam lines to get rid of on it. It's got a little seam line on the leg, and that's pretty much it. And pretty simple kit to paint. And you can also get sort of the experience of painting an inner frame, where it doesn't have like quite as complex an inner frame as a master grade, obviously, but you still kind of have the experience of essentially painting an inner frame, sort of, on a high grade kit. And then that will maybe make you less worried about going in, then like moving on to master grades later on. So you kind of have that sort of experience of painting master grades, or painting an inner frame to a degree. So let's see, this goes on here. And that'll be it for the thigh. So, okay, so for the thigh part here, you got a seam line through the knee joint, a seam line a little bit here, and a seam line down the middle of the back of that there. So I'll probably wipe those out. What's an easy way to add weathered effects to your kits? Well, there's a lot. There's about 1 million ways to do weathering. And easy, I don't know, it depends on what you want to do. But generally, I think if you're wanting the easier way to do weathering, then it's probably not going to look. I mean, weathering is the kind of thing that it takes time and it takes practice. And if you're looking to do it just a quick and easy way, then it's probably not going to turn out that well. It's the kind of thing you probably need to take some time and, practice the techniques. And you should go into it not thinking that it's something that you can just do really quickly and easily and get a good effect, because you're probably not going to get a full, like, proper or effect that you're really happy with if it's something that you just knocked out in 20 minutes, Good day, Flynn. How's it going, buddy? And Dad, yes, they should know that I'm going to Chile. I made a video talking about how I'm going to Chile. The end of this month. The event is February 1st and 2nd, but I'm leaving at the end of January. Blaze, the build so far is about what I expected. Pretty simple, but not difficult. It's definitely different from a Bandai kit. From a Bandai Gundam kit, of course. As far as the Bandai Macross kits, I don't know. I haven't built them, so I don't know how different it is from a Bandai Macross kit, but from typical Gundam kits, of course, it's different. I wouldn't say it's necessarily challenging, but it's definitely different. I wouldn't say it's like the best thing that I've ever built, but it's certainly cool. It's got a lot of really great detail. And yeah, as far as the seam lines, again, so it's about what I expected. I expected there will be some seams on it. So nothing really too surprising with the build so far. It's about what I expected, but nice and definitely worth it. I think this cost, I want to say it was, I'd have to go back and check, but didn't cost a whole lot anyway. It was pretty cheap, so. These panels here for the front and back of the leg are kind of interesting because they have this peg on here, but the peg doesn't plug into anything. it just kind of goes into there. What's actually holding them on is these little pegs here, which these panels on the front and back of the leg help to cover up the seam line on the leg, which is good, but they don't really seem very super securely held on there, so I'm definitely going to want to put some glue on those later on. But that's pretty much it for the legs. So you got basically just a couple of seam lines there around the thigh, and then like the knee joint, just the back of the knee joint, maybe you want to get rid of that, but that's pretty much it there. But some nice detail, like the vent there at the top of the leg is also pretty cool. So there's one leg. Pretty nice. I like that. Okay. DT Warrior. Zup. How's it going, buddy? Enjoy this video, especially on building. Makes me feel like I'm building alongside. Yes, indeed. Nick, what grade do I prefer collecting? I wouldn't really consider what I do to be collecting necessarily, although obviously I do have a bit of a collection. I don't know. Collecting, I think, in my mind, collecting denotes more of like that you're gathering things in order to keep them as a collection. I'm gathering kits in order to build them and then eventually paint them and sell them. So it's not something that, like, in my mind, this is like my permanent collection of kits. This is my waiting area for kits that will eventually be painted and sold, essentially. So I wouldn't exactly call it a collection. It's a backlog, to be sure. It certainly fits, I think, more in the description of a backlog. Anyway, what grade do I prefer? I also just don't really have a preference. I prefer stuff that is appealing to me. So obviously I have a ton of high grades, but again, just because Bandai makes more high grades than anything else. But, you know, I also have a good amount of master grades and other stuff. I have a couple of perfect grades. Perfect grades, not necessarily one of my favorite lines. But I've got a couple of those. And I've got a good handful of non-Gundam stuff as well. Like, got a couple of Zoids kits, some Machine and Krieger kits, a bunch of random Armored Core kits. Only have 2 Armored Core kits. But I meant to say Frame Arms Girl, Megami Device, those type of kits as well. So just whatever is appealing to me. That's kind of the best way to go about it. I don't really particularly understand people who want to like box themselves in and say like, oh, I only build master grade kits, or like Alex, for example, who it appears Alex is not with us this morning. I don't think Alex is watching live, but I know Alex generally prefers 1/100 scale kits or larger because he doesn't like high grades because they're too small. He's got big hands. I have big hands too, but he just doesn't like working with tiny little parts. So like if that's the case, I can understand, but like I wouldn't necessarily understand people's aversion to certain lines for other reasons that I've seen people avoiding certain lines. I would say, yeah, I mean, just build whatever looks cool to you. Of course, so it's really as simple as that, I think. Electros, are there any kits that you're looking forward to this year? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm looking forward to this year, and a lot of stuff that I've got my fingers crossed for this year as well. I'm hoping for more Sentinel stuff this year. So fingers crossed on that. And what else? I'm really looking forward to the Faz, so that'll be coming out soon enough. That's coming out next month. Also a Sentinel kit, I guess. So I guess maybe I didn't need to clarify that one, but what else am I looking forward to? What else is coming out? I forget. I'm sure there is. I'm really looking forward to the Frame Arms Ludens kit as well. That'll be really cool. Just for something non-Gundam. But like, yeah. We recently had a bunch of announcements. I just was kind of drawing a blank. Yeah, we recently had a bunch of stuff announced, didn't we? I'm looking forward to the HG Gundam, the Origin Gundam, the RX-7802. I'm really looking forward to that. I love that master grade kit, and the high grade kit looks really, really good. So I'm excited for that. Probably one of the kits that I'm most excited for. Excited for the HG Gundam 04 as well, or is it 4 or 5? 4, 4, 5. Looking forward to that. And even though that's a P Bandai kit, I'm still looking forward to that. I always get it confused because like the 04 and 05, you would think that like basically the weapon, the main weapon is kind of like the main difference between the two of those kits, right? The designs, the 04 and the 05. And I've always thought it's kind of weird because you would think that like the giant beam cannon is kind of like the more advanced weapon, I would think, compared to the Gatling gun. So I would think like, okay, like the Gatling gun should be 04, and then the next one, 05, has a more advanced weapon on it, but it's actually opposite. So I was that's a good way that I try to remember that, because I think that the weapons technology seems reversed in my mind. That the 5, yeah, that's right? Now maybe I'm confused. No, but yeah, right? The 5 has the Gatling gun, yeah. And 4 has the beam cannon. So yeah, it seems like it should be reversed in my mind, but so that's how I can remember that. Also, blue and red, I guess that's a good way to remember that. Blue, B, comes in the alphabet before red. So if you need another easy way to remember that. Matt, how's it going, brother? Over there on Twitch, Last Pack Magic. If any of you guys are interested in Pokemon cards, especially Pokemon cards, I should say, specifically, then check out my friend there on Instagram. Matt, do you do any streaming as well? Do you stream when you're like opening packs and stuff? Yeah, my buddy there, Last Pack Magic, does Pokemon card stuff. You're welcome. It's dangerous. Maybe a couple months ago now, I went and to the store here and picked up some Pokemon card packs to send to my friend there, because I wanted to send some Korean Pokemon card packs to him just because I thought it'd be cool. And it was dangerous. I was so tempted to buy some packs for myself too. It's like I used to be into Pokemon in general a lot more, and Pokemon cards too as well when we were younger, growing up. But like going to the store and like buying some packs, I was so tempted to buy some for myself too. I'm just thinking like it's gonna be fun, like opening the packs and like looking at the cards, but then like what am I gonna do with it? I didn't think I was gonna actually really do anything with them, so decided against it. Sometimes I'll go live on Instagram. Okay, so no Twitch live streaming, but sometimes live streaming on Instagram, opening some vintage packs and stuff. So yeah, if you guys are interested in Pokemon cards, Last Pack Magic on Instagram. And Jagan, as always, thank you, brother. Thank you for your contribution, man. I will keep it up. Thank you. I need to go to the gym. Like that, what is that? A very oddly green pear, something? Expanded dong. Yes, he's certainly got, I don't know, it's a kind of dong. So sort of like his whole body. His body dong. I only buy the digital download Pokemon cards now. Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. You'll send me a base set pack. I think, Matt, probably like in a couple years, maybe when Noah is a little bit older. When my son is a little bit older, I think Pokemon cards is something I can probably enjoy with him. He kind of like is interested in Pokemon now, but he's not like old enough. He's just recently turned 4, so he's not really like old enough to kind of really get into it like that much. He just kind of likes it on like a very basic level. But certainly once he's a little older, I'm sure we can enjoy some Poke things together. I've still got like my old Game Boy and stuff. I'll let him play Pokemon on there. So there's the arm, simple enough for the arm here. Fortunately, no seam on the upper arm, but you have a seam line on the kind of shoulder part there, and the main body of the arm. You have a really long seam line down the front and back of that. Let's see, Speedball Haro asks 10. What are your thoughts for the P-Bandai G-Unit Geminis and thoughts on how many P-Bandai G-Unit kits? I don't know how many P-Bandai G-Unit kits we will ultimately get. I hope we get enough though, because I would like to see more than just the Geminis. As I said in the last Gunpla News video, Zaku News video over there on the USA Gundam Store channel, I mentioned that the Geminis is probably one of my least favorite designs from G-Unit, so hopefully we'll get some more from the series. But that said, I think this is the wrong part. That said, the Geminis, I mean, the kit, for what we've seen so far, which is barely anything, but the kit looks alright. I think that other kits in the line will hopefully look better. The ball joint here for the arm is a bit strange because it's kind of like at a weird angle. It's not like straight across, so it's kind of like really far out to the side. The angle for that is kind of like this. I guess we can turn that. There's that. These hand parts I think is the wrong ones. Tell your buddy who gets the digital Pokemon cards to hit me up on Instagram. I have over 1,500 card codes. Oh, okay. So I can't remember who that was in the YouTube chat there. Whoever that was saying that you buy the digital download Pokemon cards. My buddy there said to check him out on Instagram. Hit him up on Instagram because he has 1,500 card codes. Okay. There you go. Steven, okay. Yes. So, hit up my friend on Instagram. Don't worry about it, Matt. You're not hijacking the stream. It's fine. I don't mind getting off into a Pokemon card tangent. It's okay. Alright. Blaze, thank you for bringing that up. The 1/72nd scale Messiah is a pretty solid kit. Blaze says there on Facebook, on YouTube. That's one of the other very few Macross kits that I'm really interested in getting. Because the reason why I've never built any is just because I'm not really that much into the designs. But one of the designs that I do really want to pick up at some point is the Messiah kit, the one with like the missile pods like all over it. Really beefy looking one. So that's definitely one that's on my list that I'll probably pick up at some point as well. Aside from this one, I did, though, pick up one more. Jay Coast, really quickly, just to answer your question, this kit is not transformable. It's not exactly transformable. As is, it's not transformable. But what you can do is I'll show you the instructions for this. I show this in the unboxing. Later when you guys watch the unboxing, you'll see more about this as well. I talked about this. If you have this kit and you also have the fighter version of this kit, you have parts included with this to turn it into the Gerwalk form. So you can build this in the Gerwalk form, but you need to have both kits, both the Battroid and the fighter versions. And then you can kind of kit bash them together to make the Gerwalk. So kind of, I mean, at least you can make it, but you have to buy 2 kits to do it. It's kind of unfortunate, but it is possible. No, like I was saying, I want to get the Messiah kit, but stand up, please. Okay. The other kit that I did pick up, though, at the same time as this one is this from the Mecha collection. What is this? The Macross Elysian Fortress mode. It's just one of these tiny kits, and just because I really liked the Star Wars, like the little tiny Mecha Collection Star Wars kits that I got, and this is kind of like the same kind of thing, just tiny ship well, very giant ship, but a tiny model kit of a very giant ship. So that'll be like something I'll do a video just like unboxing and building, painting, reviewing this like kind of all in one thing, like I did with the Star Wars kit, the Super Star Destroyer kits. Because that'll be just a really quick, just like paint it up, put a wash on it. I have to do like a little bit of detail painting on it, and that's pretty much it. Bandai did a transformable VF1 and it was terrible. I've heard a lot of mixed opinions about the Bandai kits recently. I've heard good opinions, and then I also heard from Kurosama recently that he didn't like the Bandai kit as well. But I have also heard good things about them, so. Yeah, the ship does look very cool. These mecha collections are so fun to build. I got the VF-31. Yeah, I'm sure I'll definitely build more of the Star Wars mecha collection kits, and then if I like that one, I'll probably, check out maybe another one of the Macross vehicle collection vehicle model kits at some point as well too. Because yeah, I do like them. They're small, simple to build, they're cheap, and just really super highly detailed, so they're pretty fun little kits. As I said, just based on my experience with the Star Wars kits so far. I guess the Dragon Ball kits are also technically mecha collection kits too, right? A little bit different from the Star Wars kits, of course, but here we go. Hey Zacharias, if RG ground type Gym or ground type Gundam would you buy? Yeah, they had the designs for the ground type Gundam years ago, right? But yeah, it never ended up getting made. If they made it, it would be cool, I guess. I honestly really like the HG version a lot, so I'm not sure how excited I would be about the RG when honestly the HG is kind of like enough for me. It'd just be like a super detailed version of that with a bunch more part separation, of course, which would be cool, I guess. But it's not something that I think that I would like lose my mind over by any means. It would be cool. The Bandai VF1 is very fragile. Okay. Yeah, I mean, even from the friends that I've heard giving the Bandai kits good reviews, yeah, they said it's a very delicate kit, so that's understandable. So, trying to put together these fists and getting the right parts. There is, was it? Yeah. This kit? No. I did notice, which one's right here? For the fist. Oh, there we go. Maybe? Is that right? No, that's also not right. What the? I can't figure out which hand is which for these. Of course, I can't refer to the runner now because all the parts are all cut out. Okay, there we go. That's right. So that means this one is right. RG Landman Roadie would be a welcome addition to the RG line. Yeah, Blaze, I'm gonna bet pretty highly that we're not going to see an RG Landman Roadie out anytime soon. I think we'd have to get the RG Barbatos and a lot of other things first before we ever got around to that particular kit. Yeah, the problem is these parts just don't really want to fit in together very well. It's like something's in there. Sometimes I'll have the case where like parts don't fit together well, and the problem is I've got like a piece of nub dust like stuck up in there, but it doesn't seem to be the case. It's just that something's not quite right. Maybe here? I don't know. Something's not quite fitting together right with this fist. The other one's fine. It's kind of weird. Alright, but anyway, so it's got its closed fist there. Now we just need to build the weapon here. Stephen Bell asked, do you watch Gundam? I built kits for years before I watched a single episode. Yeah, I don't really watch it much these days, but I have watched plenty of Gundam in my life. What about an RG turn A or turn X? Also, I would think very unlikely, especially a turn X for how long it took them to make the master grade. An RG turn A, possible, but I would think probably still not very likely. Just that the turn A, I think, is just generally not popular enough for them to warrant making RG out of it, I would say. I would guess. There's a lot of more popular designs that they could make into an RG, I would think. The RG lines, I gotta imagine, are pretty costly to produce on Bandai's part. So they really only want to invest that much time and money into something if they're sure it's gonna sell a bunch, right? Now, as for this stupid idiot guide manual, so silly. It's very unclear about which parts need to go in at which time. Okay, so that needs to go through there. We got this little kind of belt detail here, which is made of polycap material. So it's just soft plastic here for this part, which will go into here, and then the hand holding the handle. Okay, a little bit of a balancing act I think it's going to be to get this actually put together. No. That's in there, and that go in there. There we go. Alright, got it. Kind of had to balance those parts in because I couldn't hold everything with my hands at the same time. And this part here on the front. I like at the front of the barrel, it's like there's like 3 mini barrels in there. So is this just one like laser blast, or is it like a sort of machine gun kind of deal where it fires like hastily? Let me know, those of you guys who know more about Macross stuff. Alright, and that is pretty much it. We do also have, let's see, where does this go? This will clip onto the back of there. Like that, okay. So there's that. Let's see how that's going to look in hand. So straight out of the box, obviously not going to be the most colorful kit here, and even within its like official color scheme, it's not the most colorful either. But it's definitely missing some color apps here as it is. And we have some parts for the stand, but you don't have the full parts for the stand. The stand also, to make the full stand, you also need the fighter version of this as well. So that kind of sucks that you can't make the full stand, but you can make enough of it that hopefully maybe you can still make it work, sort of. But let me see here. You need this part like this. Is there stickers for this kit? Brian P, there's no stickers for this kit, but we did have some water slides, I think, right? Let me see. Yeah, just some water slides here, which again you guys will see in the come out. Can't get them out of the box here. You guys will see in the unboxing portion of the review later on. So I'll have the unboxing and review all together as one video. So you guys will see that, but there's what the water slide decals look like. And what's the deal with this stand? Why it's not going together easily? Will you put all the live builds in a playlist on YouTube? Winged Wolf, yeah, I need to do that. I think I've been forgetting to do that, but I did have a playlist on YouTube already of all the live builds. But I think like the last handful of them, I've forgotten to add them to the playlist, yes. So thank you for reminding me. I'll try to go back and do that. But I think if you just go to like, I think you can, there's just like an automatically generated, basically, sort of list of live streams. I think if you just go to like all my videos and you just select like just live streams, then pretty much all my live streams are just live builds pretty much. So should be able to sort you out like that. I watched Wings for a few weeks ago. It looked pretty interesting. Yeah, so this is basically all we have for the base. Yeah, like that. So you don't have the part where this actually plugs into. It should plug into something like that, and then this kind of rests around the crotch like that ultimately. So if you have like, you know, you just drill a hole and just drill this into something, you can do that, but you'd have to set it at an angle because it's meant to actually be posted up at an angle. This bottom part here doesn't plug straight down, it plugs onto an angled piece, as you can see here. That bottom part is included with the fighter version of this. So yeah, if you want to make this into the Gerwalk form, or if you want to have the complete stand for this, then you have to also have the Gerwalk, or you also have to have the fighter version of this kit from Wave, unfortunately. So fair play, Wave. That's it for this build. So just took just about an hour to put this together. Of course, I did all the all the nub removal and everything ahead of time. So, but still, pretty quick build, pretty simple build. And again, I'll just give you guys a size comparison so you can see here. Any other further questions you guys have, ask them now before we wrap up the stream. Did you ever get burnt out from building Gunpla or mecha kits? And no, I just don't really get burnt out, no. I build something other than mechs like cars, planes. Yeah, I suppose if you build other things like cars, planes, tanks, something like that, then that'd be a good way to avoid getting burnt out, just doing something different. But for a size comparison, here it is compared with the RX-782 HG kit. So as you can see, it's about the same size generally as a kind of standard HG kit, basically. Gundam guy said, how do you stay awesome? I'm not sure that I stay awesome, but if I stay among your definition of awesome, then I don't know, I guess I just do stuff that I enjoy doing here on the channel. Your compressor, yeah, my compressor is not installed yet. That's in my to-do list for today. This afternoon I'm gonna get the new compressor installed, maybe do some painting tonight. What are your thoughts on the new Gundam GP Rasit 210 kit? Not really into it. That's the new version of, like, it's based off of the GPO2, right? I don't really like it. Brian P asked, how much was this kit? Yeah, I was trying to think of that earlier and I couldn't remember, but I know I got it on sale. And so I want to say it was around 20 bucks. Like that. So not bad. For like a very simple, basic, high-grade kit from Bandai, like compared to like a Bandai Gunpla kit, it maybe seems a little bit pricey. But for a Wave kit, and it's really super highly detailed, it's not bad, I think. Do you still do commission builds? I do still currently have a couple of commissions that I need to work on, but I'm not taking any more at the moment, for the time being. Waiting on the Barbatos project. Yeah, I'm going to work on the Barbatos. Any chance you'll ever review the HGC Lotto? I don't have it, and I don't really plan on getting the Lotto, so probably not, but I wouldn't rule it out. It could happen someday, but not anytime soon. Yeah. Let's see. So question on Winged Wolf here. Sorry, let me just answer this question from Winged Wolf. A question about the top kits of the decade video. Everything you said about the RG Unicorn, MG Age 1, do they still apply to their respective variants, the Banshee Norn? For the Unicorn, yes, because the Banshee Norn and like the Phoenix, which is coming out as a P Bandai kit. It's almost the same kit. As far as the Age 1, the Age 1 Titus and the Age 1 Sparrow are not, they're a lot more different in terms, like, the Unicorn, it's almost just a color swap. There's barely anything different about them. So yes, as far as the Age kits, I think generally the Titus and the Sparrow are also very good kits, I would say, based on what I know about them. They wouldn't be exactly the same though, so there might be small pros and cons to them. I know, like, one con of the Sparrow could be that it just, like, doesn't come with very much in the way of weapons, so you might not really like that about it. It's pretty bare bones, but it's also very cheap, master grade, if you can find it. It's not always the easiest one to find. It's often sold out. The Titus as well can also be a really difficult kit to find if it hasn't been printed recently. Is that the MG Gundam Spiegel in the backlog? Yes. Spiegel is in my building queue as well, so as soon as I get a chance, I'll be building that one up as well. Alright. Yes, Blaze, the Zama will be awesome. Yes, I'm really hoping that at some point we will get either an HGUC or an RE100 version of the Zammel. That would be awesome. I think it could go either way. HGUC or RE100 would be probably the best bet for a Zammel. I would not bet any money that we would ever see a master grade version of that, but something simpler, definitely. I really liked your best of the year and best of the decade about the Shinanju narrative. Yeah, the Shinanju Stein narrative version, yes. Both the HD version and the MG version were both very good, but being basically just based off of the Shinanju, essentially, they weren't really anything particularly very much new. Just good, solid kits, and especially for, like, the best of the decade, there's so many just, like, really good, solid kits, but I really wanted to focus on, like, kits that had something kind of special about them that made them different from, aside from just being really good kits. So anyway, that's gonna be it for the live stream for today, guys. A relatively short one, just building up. This was relatively simple. And for those of you guys who were not here at the beginning of the live stream, I mentioned that the next live stream on Friday is going to be the Aoshima Mecha Godzilla kit, so that should be another interesting build. I'll see how that goes. I'm just working on getting all the parts right and everything for that, but that's it for today. Later on today, the next proper video that you guys will see is another work in progress video, but not on the G40 or anything else that you've seen before. Actually, a work in progress video on some Nachin tank kits, the little, what's the name of the company? I always think of it wrong. Kaviko model. So I'll have that video out for you guys later on today once I get through editing that. So look forward to that. And then also another work in progress video on the G40 I also have in the works as well. I'm modifying the skirt armor. A lot of you guys wanted to see modification to the G40's skirt armor, separating the diaper, as it were. So because so many people wanted to see that, I decided to go ahead and modify that. So I did that, and you guys will see that in a video very soon. So that's it for today, guys, and that's what you can look forward to in the next couple days as far as videos go. So I'll see you all very soon. Bye, guys.